Hello everyone, how's it going? Ray here, and today's video is gonna be talking about some YouTube tips and also some things I've learned throughout the years that maybe you might want to be interested in focusing on if you're thinking about starting a new channel. And if you're thinking about doing YouTube, this isn't just to say that I'll be talking about TF2, I'll also be giving out some tips talking about YouTube as a whole and sort of the expectations that you should set out for yourself as you're doing it. And I know there have been so many videos done by a couple of close friends of mine as well, but in general about tips that pertain to doing YouTube. But this is going to be covering mostly my experiences since I started this channel in 2012. I think now that I've sort of built a fan base, I have a couple things I want to talk about. And I'll be breaking down the video into the tools that you need to start out on YouTube, making the video itself, and then talking about TF2 in relation to this, but also YouTube as a whole, as I sort of previously mentioned. Now, starting off, some of the tools that you'll need, this is incredibly important. You need to have a good PC that's capable of running TF2 at probably, I would say, at least 80 frames or so, but that's not really important. You want to be able to record at least about 40 frames. Typically for a good video, people want it to be at least like at 60 FPS, but obviously it would be a bit hypocritical on my end to say that you need to have that, because you don't really. I record my videos at about 40 FPS, as you can see in here. My FPS was a little bit better during this video, and speaking of the video itself, I was using Funk's HUD. I did switch from Bud HUD. My previous HUD was Bud HUD. Some people asked me in the past what it was. It was Bud HUD. I don't know if I'll be keeping, if I'll keep on using this HUD in future videos, but definitely it's a nice HUD. Getting back on track, you need to have a good mic. I would suggest getting either a Blue Yeti or a Snowball one. I'm not too much of an expert on microphones because I don't know how this sounds. I would assume this mic is pretty good, but the one I use is actually a headset mic from the Turtle Beach headset X22. That is the one I use, and you know, it is pretty decent, but I will be getting a better computer in the summer, and I will be getting a proper microphone with a pop filter, which is incredibly important, and you guys should have that. Most people click away from the video just purely from having bad audio and bad audio quality, which often is worse than having lower frames in a video, but that is pretty subjective. That is just something I've learned. Editing is a huge part of it. Movie Maker, guys, won't cut it. Windows Movie Maker won't cut it, although I have used Windows Movie Maker to start. That's kind of how I got into YouTube, when I was making those montages of TF2 songs, particularly E.T., Heavy Beaver, all those good things that you can check out. And I use Movie Maker for those, but back then I didn't really need to get too much into editing. Of course, it is a huge part of doing YouTube, and editing videos pretty well will get you really far and will get you a long way. I currently use Adobe Premiere Pro CS6. I know that a lot of people use Sony Vegas Pro. I don't know if it's much better. I haven't touched it at all. Actually, there's kind of a story as to how I even started using Adobe Premiere Pro CS6. I was part of the editing team for a movie in grade 11.
Wow, it sounds like you stay super busy.
And the directors, said that you guys need to use this program. And that was seriously the first time I began using it, and that's how I started learning. So it was a really nice learning opportunity for me, and here I am using it today. So it's a very good program. I recommend it. I don't know if it's much easier to use than Sony Vegas, but I'm not really going to give too many tips on what you should use, except don't use Movie Maker. It won't get you far if you want to take YouTube remotely seriously, as I do. Now we're going to go on to sort of presenting the video. One more thing I should talk to you guys about is I use Fraps for recording. I was considering switching to OBS, but I kind of put that off because I put that off, and then I found out that apparently when you record with OBS, unless you have a really beefy PC or a good gaming laptop like an Alienware, OBS does tend to record videos really choppily, as opposed to Fraps. Even though I do have some issues with Fraps sometimes where my FPS will dip to like 6 and then I have to restart, re-record, and that is pretty much a huge pain when it does happen, and it's not really very good, but I mean, you can kind of get around it with you can get around it if you just keep using it. It only happens once in a while, not too much of a big deal. Now, presenting the video, this is a huge part of it. I think one of the biggest things is that people usually end up liking you for either having really good gameplay or being entertaining. And I'm none of those things. I don't know why I even got so far.
Very cool.
But I mean, you have to have pretty good gameplay, but like being kind of average in both those regards is, it will get you pretty far. Next thing, I kind of already covered this, FPS in gaming. Just make sure when you record you have decent FPS. I would recommend honestly putting off YouTube if you don't have a good computer. Don't even bother, because if you make bad videos and you make a ton of them, that won't get you anywhere. But I'll talk a little bit about that later. Video titles and thumbnails. For thumbnails, I would recommend you guys to take the time and actually learn SFM. I started learning it really recently, and the thumbnail that will be used in this video, I'm not sure if I'll make it myself or if I'll get someone to make it. I think I'll get someone to make it for this one, but the previous videos that I did, I usually make them myself. I've taken the time. I've made about 3 thumbnails so far myself, and I'm pretty happy with how they turned out, but I have a lot to learn. Funk made a video on his second channel talking about his thumbnail process and using SFM, so you guys should probably go check that out if you want to learn more about like tweaking thumbnails and making them. But watching that video, you'd have to have some experience with SFM to really understand what's going on. Next thing is scripting. Scripting is pretty much completely optional when you make a video. I have a script for this video actually, because there's quite a list of things I have to talk about. When there's a list and there's specific things you want to discuss, having a script is pretty useful, and it is pretty good. Although it is very optional. If you're good at improv and you want to do that and you want to stick to that, feel free. You know, it's up to you, and it's up to the persona that you want to implement. So that is completely optional, but depending on the video and depending on the video type, you're gonna want to do that. Next thing, intro outro, completely necessary, guys. I wouldn't recommend anyone to start doing YouTube without having an introduction and an outro. Even if it's like 3 seconds, actually for the intro, you want to have it not past like 6 seconds, I would say. 5-6 seconds. Mine is even shorter. It was actually longer, and I had Dragon made that for me. He offered to make it, and it's very nice. But I cut it out even more. I cut it from like 7 seconds to like 3. And yeah, just have that. It really will improve the quality of your video and will make you stand out. And it will make you seem more professional. And honestly, when you make these videos, it's all about being professional, but also about being yourself. You know, sometimes I'll have videos that I spend maybe half an hour doing, just commentating and then having gameplay in the background, and they end up doing much better than videos that I could spend 3 days on. So you never know how your YouTube fan base will react and all that kind of stuff. Now, making good quality content, you know, it's very important. You might have one person that clicks on your video, and that one person, the 2 weeks you went without making videos, they won't see that. If you wanna, you know, have good gameplay and have good gameplay in the background and make a good video, I just recommend you take the time to do that and upload it, because honestly, it's all about having good quality, not a lot of quantity, you know what I mean? So you need to focus on that if you want to get far with YouTube. Now, talking about TF2 and YouTube as a whole in relation to all this, now that you have some of the tips and some of the things that, or my knowledge rather, is for TF2, the only reason I've mentioned this in so many videos is that a ton of things have been done. A lot of things have been done with TF2. Star has made so many videos on it. I don't want to keep on mentioning YouTubers, but we all know Star, we all know Germa, even Shibby that made videos forever ago. But a lot of things have been done. It's very hard to stay original. So what I would suggest is, if you think you're boring, just make videos with people. Just make, interact with your friends and have them be in a video, and that will boost the video quality by a lot more if you guys are both funny together. If you can be funny, or if you think you're not too entertaining on your own, definitely get some people in your video, and that will get you really far. YouTube as a whole, I think one of the biggest things is that people upload videos thinking that they'll get a ton of views. I went probably like 3 years without barely getting anywhere until I got a shout out from Dragon, honestly, and that got me like 400 subs right off the bat, and I kind of just went off from there. And I did carry it, so I will give myself credit, but I don't know. Don't expect too much success starting off. I started off with TF2 music videos in like 2012, and that was really beneficial because that was kind of the trending thing then, and that allowed me to get subs, and that allowed interaction on my videos, and it got me like 100 subs pretty dang quickly. And one of my music videos has like 27k views, which is pretty crazy. Now, YouTube as a whole is a great platform for communication, for events, for rants. I've made a ton of rants. I've told a lot of stories, which people seem to like, so I'm gonna keep doing that. And I think one of the last things that I'm gonna end this note on, don't do it for the money, guys. Money is such an irrelevant thing almost when it comes to YouTube, because even if you start a channel, you won't be making money for maybe 2 years or so. I don't know. I can't really gauge that, but it's really subjective, and unless your channel like takes off like funk or whatever, you won't be making too much money. So if you do it for the money, you won't get far at all. Don't expect positive responses from your viewers all the time. You might do a video and it might not get the response you want, but with that, guys, just start off YouTube having a positive attitude, knowing what you want to do. You might not know what you want to do, that's also fine, but start it with a positive attitude. Make sure you have the basics though. Make sure you make good thumbnails, make sure you have a mic, and that's a lot to ask maybe, but that's the tools that are necessary for a successful channel. So take this video with a grain of salt. I hope it has helped you though, and if you're looking forward to making TF2 content or any content on YouTube, gaming content or otherwise, I hope this finds you well. Stay tuned for more video, guys. Peace out.
Sometimes I wonder if there's something wrong with me. My floor is always covered up in dirty laundry. If she was here right now, she'd be proud that she let me be. Yo, but she don't understand that life is short, and she don't understand that I'm Michael Jordan. She don't understand that I'm about to be scoring points in the game, but my voice and my name she ignoring still. I say good riddance like bread fed to the pigeons. Now it's just freedom, keep your problems